Okay, good evening to you all. Today is 23rd October 2024, and that's the beginning of our week three of this 6 month virtual internship. So, like always, we'll start with our outlines. That is what we are going to cover for the day. So, today we are going to cover a lot. So, please just take your jotter, write what you can, and it's going to be a long night, I believe. So please get ready for that. So we are going to have a recap on what we did on in week two, and today we are going to solve that question five under section B, which I told you I discovered that there are some you know loopholes in the question which we are going to bridge the gap. Okay. And we are going to talk about if and today. That's what we are going to talk about. If and we are going to talk about if O. We are going to talk about count if, some ifs, some product, learn, text to column, concatenate, trim, left, right, mid. All these are what we are going to cover today. And apart from that, also, we're going to talk about sources of data today. We're going to talk about that. And we are going to talk about qualities of data. That's another topic that we are going to have a presentation on that. And also we are going to talk about data collection methodologies. That's what we are going to discuss about today also. So the entire today's session is going to be divided into three. That's what I think it's going to be divided into. We First part is was to talk about the previous classes, that is to have a recap on week two, and also to solve question five under section B from our week one assignment. So that's what we are going to discuss about. That's part one. Part two, we are going to talk about the practical aspects of these functions, which we are going to treat it today. About how many of them? About 14 of them. We're going to discuss them today. So that's what we are going to do the second part. While the third part, we're going to have a theoretical presentation, which I want you to have that in your mind, whatever you are doing. Please focus and start learning this, because what we are going to learn at the end of this session, last part, is it has to do with real work. It has to do with interviews. It has to do with a lot of things that you are going to be asked, because oral interview you are going to do, most of the time people will not give you data. They will just ask about your experience. And since this internship that you are doing, I told you already, the internship is, I told you, is a practical aspect. We are grooming you, we are mentoring you, so we are guiding you to know how things are going on even in the field. So as you are doing this, you are doing internship with us, and this part of your working experience. Definitely we are going to teach you field experience, because we want you to have that. Next week, definitely after our this week, next week, definitely all of you, I believe, you are going to the field. You are going to start working in the field for you to have field working experience and the rest. So please focus on this, and that's how it's going uh to be. Okay, so let's start. First of all, a recap on what we did last week. Let's talk about that. I'm sorry, I was just distracted by something. Yeah. Okay, so if you can recall last week, what we have discussed is we talk about data types. We also talk about, you learn about different data that we have, all the qualitative, quantitative, numerical, categorical, scale, all the different types of data that we have. You understand the continuous and the discrete. All this, you understand the different types of data that we have. And although we talk about the cell formatting, you saw how you can format your cell to have the type of data that you want, so that you will avoid a lot of mistake in that. And we also talk about rank, minimum, maximum, count A, count blank, if and if nested. That's where we stopped, due to the class is going very long, and we decided to cut it so that at least we can stop there so that we will not get confused. So that's all what we did in week two. An assignment was given to you. I don't know whether you submitted your assignment or the deadline is due. I don't know, but the assignment was given to you. I know week two assignment is already given to you. Okay, so that's for week two, and your assignment, you're supposed to see the result of the assignment, but it's because the people are too much, and every day we have a lot of people sending their distant letter, and we don't even know what to do. Marking the assignment, working on this, working on that is getting kind of, it's very difficult. But we'll see what we can to stop accepting people so that we give you all your score to see what you have done wrong or what you have done right so that we move from there and we continue. Okay, so that's for week two. And what we are going to talk about now is to solve that week question 5 in section B. I told you there is a missing data in the question. So we are going to talk about that so that you'll understand how the question works and how the question looks like so that you learn how to solve that. It's not that big. It's just for you that is a missing data. And when you got the missing data, I believe all of you will answer the question. And of course, we are sharing this file with you also just for you to work with it on your own. We're sharing the corrected file with you so that you work on it. You are not resubmitting it back again, please. Just is for your own use and you save it, you book it. Please, whatever you did, any question you answered, any work you did, write it, write a description, explain it in your CV. It's part of your working experience and it's part of the work you have done, it's part of the project you have done in your life. Please put that in your CV if you want to. Okay, so let me just go to the Excel file and we start solving that in within a short period of time and we come back and continue. Okay, yeah, when we are done, we'll just continue with this formula that we're going to solve. So immediately we are done with the solution of the assignment. So we'll continue with these functions that we have for today. So let's go. I'm resharing my screen, please. Don't worry, I'm the one that stopped it. I'm sharing the screen. Please, if you can see my screen, let me know. So here it is, this is assignment, and this is the question I'm where is the question? This is question 5. Let me just leave it this where it is. So this is the question that I want us to discuss about. So that is find the percentage coverage of children immunized under each category. So you see, this section B, these are the children immunized. You're supposed to have this data. You're supposed to have this data. These are the children immunized. You're supposed to have this data. So that's the missing data that you don't have in that assignment, which there is no way you can get this question correctly the way it's supposed to. But the other questions that has to do with you getting the target and whatever, you all I know all of you got that correct, but this one you cannot get that without having the complete data. And when you have the complete data, believe me, you can work with that. So first of all, is the first question in the session is for you to customize the table. So customizing the table is what will help you to kind of get a lot of things and what to do a lot of other things to get marks and whatever. But I'm not going to work on that. First of all, I'm going to work on, okay, I think it's better for me to even customize the table. Let me just try that. But I'm not going to do it just, let me just do this because I want to see the percentage. So what I'm going to do is, we must get the percentage. We must get the target. That is the target of each before we got the total. So let me show you how it works. So first of all, to get the target, we are going to say this multiply by the 4%. That's the answer. That's it. And for this, we are going to say equals to this particular total population is not target, is the total population multiplied by 5%. Then I'll press enter. And for this, I'm going to say total population, that is C2 multiplied by 20%. And I press enter. So these are the things I have. So all I need is to double click here and I will remove the decimal places. And here it is. The what we got for the target of each category. So under 1, target women, pregnant women, and also target of the under 5. So these are the questions that we asked you these questions. Once you answer it the way it is like this, you are okay and you can you get the the marks. So the next question is for you to get the percentage immunized. These are the children immunized. These children rich are the children immunized. That's why we put males and females per each category. We put males and female per each LG. Also this one, but for pregnant women, definitely we only have single categories of pregnant women. That why we doesn't have males and females here. So what you are going to do is part of the customization of table. We believe that you are going to merge and center this one, while this one you are merge and center it from the horizontally, this one vertically, and also this one you are merge and center it horizontally. So now if you look at it for this, I'm going to merge and center it for this one also. I'm going to merge and center it for this one also. I'm going to merge and center it. You see, all this is something is part of the table customization that we ask you to do. But don't worry, I told you there is a missing data in it, and that why you just find it very simple and easy. So when you do this, you just copy everything, just highlight everything, and you just put it everything in the border. So when you do that, and this, I'm going to create a serial number. Then I'm going to say 1 and 2, just a shortcut. You all know how to do that. Then I will double click here, and I created my what? Already created my serial number up till the total number of the what? LGS I have, which is 771 LGS. Supposed to be 774 for the entire Nigeria, but don't worry, it's just we just create this data for you to work with. So secondly, what we need to do is look at it now. You need to, for you to get this, for you to get this percentage that we asked you in the question, you definitely need to get total of each category. You need to get total of each, except this pregnant woman, except the pregnant woman. So now what I'm going to do is, what I'm going to do, I will just create a new column here, but I'm going to do this, copy this. Sorry, I'm just doing something very smart, so I'm deleting this. But here I'm going to call it total. I'm going to call it total. I'm going to say equals to sum open bracket, then I'm going to say this. So you see, I have to get the total of this for me to know the percentage coverage of this category. Please understand all what I'm doing. And I'm creating another table again. I'm creating another one. I'm just taking it step by step so that you will not get confused. This one also, I'm copying it because I need to get the percentage here, and I'm deleting this one. Don't worry. I'm going to say sum open bracket. I'm going to apply it again. Don't worry, I'm summing these males and female of this category, and here I'm going to say percentage coverage like this. So I'm going to say percentage coverage. So let me just increase it a little bit like this. And to get a percentage coverage is very easy. You know that specific divided by total, multiply by 100. So now, if you look at it, what is our specific now? Ask yourself. Our specific is the percentage, is the what? Is the total immunized. So the specific is this 15 divided by what? Divided by our target. What is our target under one children? It's 19. Then I will come under one children 19. I press enter, and this is it. I got this. Then I'm going to just put it here. I have 78% coverage of under one children. If I double click it, definitely it's okay. It's going to give me this, and we are done. So this is how you're going to apply it across all these. For pregnant woman, you don't need to get the total. It's just for you to create a new column under this pregnant woman and just calculate the percentage, and you just say this 8 divided by this target of pregnant woman, which is 24, and you get your what? You get your percentage coverage. Please, do you understand this? Please. Let me hear you say yes or no. Because if you don't understand it, I will say go and watch this video, you will understand. Because this is something that you are going to learn. You are going to be working with this. Because most of the time, some of you will end up program managers, will end up project managers, will end up doing a lot of things. This is what you will be doing. Please go and rewatch this video. Please rewatch it and learn how to get this, because it's a very, very important something for you to understand and learn. Yeah, I know it's past, so don't worry. It's just for us to minimize our time. So if I say I'm going to take it like step by step to take out like forever to finish this. So please rewatch the video, put it in slow motion, understand how this works, because definitely I'm giving you similar assignment. This assignment will definitely come back to you because it's the heart of that week one assignment. Definitely you are going to do this assignment again. I'm telling you this. Okay. So let's go back to our slide and okay, like I told you, okay, let's continue uh, with the things we are going to cover today. So we are going to talk about if and if or. So that's what we are going to talk about. Okay. For the if and, we did, if you can recall, we did, I'm going to use this data, don't worry. Maybe after I will, what am I going to do? Because if I work on it, I have to delete. Seriously, because I didn't say, well, okay, I don't know. It's okay. When I'm done, I'll delete everything and clean it for you so that you can work with it and share it with you. Okay. So we're going to talk about if and. Let me just write it here. If and. Let me write it here. So what this if and did, this function that you are seeing is like advanced function of if formula. We said the formula is a conditional formula where you give a criteria followed by the value if the criteria is true, followed by the value if the criteria is false. Or you can nested it. You can just put as much as criteria as you want and as much as true values that you want. But this if and, as you can see, is for you to create a logical expression with it. That's it. The logic is that when you are creating you are creating your criteria, you are using different criteria that must be true for you to have your true value. Please understand. Two criteria, you are creating two criteria. In if nested and if that we did, it's only one criteria. But now you are going to give two criteria that these two criteria must be true for you to have the true expiration, or for you to have to return the true expiration. Otherwise, you want to see the wrong expiration. For example, now, for example, for example, okay, what example am I going to give? Okay, let's say, for example, I have someone with, um, okay, let me say this. Okay, let's create something awesome. So let's say I have someone with X and Y, and I also have X, X, Y, okay, X, Y, for example. So what okay, I'm sorry, my network just shake. I don't know, I'm trying to reconnect. But yeah, please, can you hear me? If you can hear me, let me know because I know you miss me. Okay, so let's continue. I'm going to create this. So here it is. We have X, we have Y. I'm going to create something, like I told you, that has to do with the, you know, uh, chromosomes of, let's say, males and females, for example. So we have X, Y, and we also have a column that carried X, X, for example. And we also have a column with XY. For example, now I'm going to create that if the chromosomes is XX, we know XS is for females and XY is for males. So I'm going to write a formula that if let me call this, say, type, okay, let me say, um because the sperm comes in half, so one bearing X, one bearing half. So let's just say half one, or let's say half A and half B. So let's say, for example, the half A is X, the half Y is B. What is going to give you? Maybe half A is X, half B is also X. What is this going to give you? So this is how it comes. So let's write a formula on that to say that if it is XY, we want to see female. If it is XX, we want to see males. So in this scenario, if formula cannot do it for you, if formula cannot do it for you, believe me, it is going, you must what? You must use if and in that case. So that what brings us to this. Yeah, we are not in biology class. It's just you need to be versatile, believe me, as you're working with this, you need to be versatile. You need to learn a lot. Don't worry. So this is it. We are going to write this. We are going to say equals to if open bracket. Now we need to put our logical expression of and immediately after this open bracket. We are going to say and. That means now we are going to pass two logics in our if function, and these two logics must be true for us to have the value that we want, whether females or males. Please understand this. So now we are going to say if and then I can say this O2 because that's the name of the column. I can click on it or I can write the O2 myself. I'm going to say if this O2 is equals to, then I'm going to say X, comma. Then I'm going to say the same O2, the same O2, the same O2 also is equals to Y. Then I close this. Now, I pass two logics inside. It must be X, Y. Okay, that's for female. Sorry, not O2 is supposed to be in the hub. Sorry. Let me click this. Okay, yeah. It's equals to Y. Yeah, I made a mistake. So the P2, because it's two columns that I have, not the same column. So this one and this one must be two for us to have something here. But what I'm going to do is, let me just put another X here. Let me just put another X. But I don't want to confuse it in the first instance. Now we are done with this. We are done with this. So I'm going to say, comma, what do we want to return? If it is XS, that means O2 is X, P2 is X. What do we want to see? We want to see male. Male. That's what we want to see, male gender. Okay, because it is XX. So for the if, normally if takes only one, unless we want to create if nested. I don't want to create if nested for this. So let me just let me just get the answer of this one so that we come back and create the if nested in it. Please understand this. So I'm going to say otherwise, one is not a male. Definitely it's going to be a female. So I'm going to write female. So I'm going to write female at the end because I just have true or false. I don't want to create true or false. It's either male or female for this example that I'm giving. Please understand this. So I'm pressing enter. So definitely it gave me female. Why? Because I have X and I have Y. It gives me what? Female. Let me drag it across and see. So look at it. I have X, I have X. It say it's male. I have X, I have Y. It tells me is what? It tells me is, okay, someone say, okay, yeah, sorry, female is XX. Yeah, I said it. I made a mistake. Female is XS. Definitely female is XS. Sorry. So definitely this one's supposed to be male. Female is XS. Sorry, I just said it, but I made a mistake in the formula. Okay. So we have XY is give us male. We have XX, it give us female. We have XY and it give us male again. Okay. So now, so now we are going to create if nested again now. What we are going to see, what we are going to do now is, if it is, let's say, I'm just going to put anything. For example, let's say it is, I'm creating another something. Please, this one we out of biology because we it's just out of biology. Or let's say, for example, let's say it is YX. Let's say it is YX or YY or whatever. We are going to call it, for example, let's say uh nothing. For example, let's just say nothing. So now we'll create the if nested in here. If nested of this and. So I'm going to say this. After this one, I'm done with this one. So I'm going to put the value if true. So now I'm going to say female because XS is female. So I'm going to say female if everything is XX. So I'm going to create another if formula and I'll say and. So now I'm creating another scenario for what? For our male gender. So that I'm going to say now if O2, that is this O2 is equals to X, comma, and the same O2 and wait, P2, not O2, and P2 is equals to Y, comma. Now what do we want? We want to see male. Okay, then I close it. Okay, sorry. After this y, I need to close it. Then I put my comma, then I put value if true for male. So now the next thing is we still need to see another value if all these are not true. If we get something other than this, then we are going to say there is mistake. Let me just say there is mistake. Then I'll close my two bracket and I'll press enter. So now let me drag it. So if I come here now, for example, this have and just put y, it will tell us there is a mistake. You see, I put y in the column. It said there is a mistake. If I come here and put y again, it say there is a mistake. But once I turn it to x, it will give us the gender. If I turn it to X, it will get gender. If I put X here, it will turn it to female. If I put Y here, it will turn it to male. If I put X here, it will turn it to female. So this is what this logical operator of AND did to you. All these values, all these columns that you used must be true for you to see the value if true. Please practice this. It has everything to do with your week 3 assignment. So let's move to if O. So for the if O, you see, if O is like opposite of if and. For if and, all the criteria must be true for if and. While for if O, only one. If one is true, it will give you the answer. Even if one is true. So it doesn't require it to be all the criteria must be true. No, even one of the criteria is true, it will give you the answer. For example, here, if we say x, y in either have A, have B, or we turn it to yx, xy or yx, it will still give us the same answer. So let's try this if O and C. If I say if equals to if, open bracket, then you write O, open bracket, then you put the logics. Then I'll say O2 is equals to x, comma, and P2 is equals to x. Then I close it, comma, then I'll write female. We need to see female gender. So now here, otherwise we want what? Male. So let me show you what will happen. So what will happen now is that either of the value that is true, it will give us the answer, irrespective of what we have. It doesn't require all of them to be true. Even if one of them is true, it will give you the answer. It will get the answer for you. So let me press enter and see. So now you see it gives us female. If I turn this to Y, it will still give us female. You see, it still stays female under if O. Let me just show it to you so that you will see what we're doing. Let me hide this one. Sorry, let me hide this. So we are on this if O. If I turn it to Y, it will give us female. If I turn this one to Y, it give us male because all the values are what? Are false. So what it's saying is that if half A is X and O P2X X, it gives us female. So any of them where we get the answer, even if this one is 2 and this one is X, it will still give us female. If this one is Y, it will give us wrong because none of the criteria is true. This one carries 2, this one carries Y. None of the criteria has X. And in as much as either of the cells contain X in them, it will give you the value true. And please take note, let me say this. You see this O, logical, and this AND, logical. You can create as many as you can. Not only these two that I just created, because your assignment will contain a lot. Because in your assignment, you will all become exam officers. So you're going to, not exam officers, university registrars. All of you will become university registrars, and you are going to do a lot in that assignment. So I'm just giving you a hint. Please understand this. Focus from today. Focus. Your assignment will be available very soon. So please focus. Understand. You can put a lot of logic here before you put the value that you want to see, if true or false. And you can create nested also for this one. To create nested, you just need to put this value. If true, then you just delete this one, then you put comma, you started another if O, and you continue from there. Please, if you didn't understand this, rewatch the video, put it in slow motion, and believe me, you will understand it very, very well. Okay, let's move. So again, we are going to talk about count if and count ifs. That's what we are going to talk about. Let's talk about count if, count ifs. So these are the two functions also we are going to discuss about today. Okay, so now for uh, count if, we use count if to count a particular criteria within the range of the data. The example I'm going to give here for this count if is that look at this data that we have. You see, we are going to count uh, let's say number of LGA or states with more than 300 target population, that is total population, more than 300 total population of that state, and the percentage coverage of their under one is greater than 75%, is greater than 75%. Understand this issue that I just give. We want to count states, number of states with more than 300 target population and with more than 75% coverage. These are the two things we are counting. So understand this. So let's see how we are going to do this. So what we are going to do now is, let me put this here. We are going to say equals to count if open bracket. We're going to say that. Then we are going to take the range of our criteria. For now, we are understand this. For now, I told you if we are counting more than two, we use ifs. But if we are counting only one, we use what? We use count if. So we are going to count if using one range. So we are counting, first of all, let's count the number of states with more than 300 target. So let me just say count if this is the range of the target population, comma, what are we counting the criteria? We are counting more than 300 target population. So for more than 300 target population, I'm going to put double quote because we are using that greater sign. Because of this greater sign, we are using it. That way we need to put it inside double quote. Then we close the double quote and we close our bracket. So by default now, when we press enter, it will count how many state has more than 300 target for us. So let's press enter. It gives us 692 state. They are the state with what? With more than 300 target population. So the next scenario that I gave is state with more than 300 and also with more than 75% coverage. So that what brings us to this count ifs. So for the count ifs, we have more than two criteria, more than two criteria. So what we are counting, we are going to say count ifs with S, open bracket. So we are asking for the criteria range one, which is this target population, comma, then I put my double quote and put greater sign of 300 also, that is greater than 300. That's our criteria one. So we are counting this first criteria. The second thing that we are going to do is just to put comma. Then it will ask us for the criteria range two, which is what? The coverage. So I'm highlighting the entire coverage, comma. Inside this, what we counting? We are counting what? Greater than 75%. Greater than what? 75%. So I'm going to put my double quote. Then I'll put what? 75, greater than 75%. Then I close my double quote and I close my bracket. So now when we press enter, it will return what? It will return the number of states with more than 300 target population and the coverage of that under one children of that particular state is what? It's more than 75%. So let's press enter. And once we press the enter, once we press enter, it will give us what? 144 states with more than 300 target population and what? More than 75% coverage. Please, this is what this count ifs did for you. So you are counting based on a particular criteria. So you can be asked to maybe count how many students that has more than 10 marks or how many staff are collecting more than 200 salary. Please understand that if you see that question, think of what we use here and use that to calculate such or to get the answer of that. Please, because you are going to be asked a lot on this, please understand this. So that what count ifs is all about. So now, after the count ifs, what we are going to do next is we have some if. I'm deleting this. So let me just come here. Okay, so that will not go much. So I'm saying some if and some ifs. That's the next functions that we have. We are going to talk about this. So what some if and some ifs did for us. So for the some if, it's like understand the count if is counting based on a criteria. Count ifs counting based on two or more criteria. Some if is summing based on criteria. You are adding a particular data based on a criteria. Based on a criteria. For example, let me see what we are going to do here. Okay, I'm going to touch this data. Don't worry, I'm going to touch this data because I want to show you something. So for this particular Gudu, it's just the name of whatever state or LJ is. LJ in Sokoto State. So let me just duplicate this Gudu. Let me just put this Gudu in many places. Gudu. I'm just doing this. So let me take this Uchi. Oh, okay, let's test this Bale. Or let's come and take another one. Let's take Kagara. I'm doing something and I will show you why I'm doing it. Let me just touch this Kagara. 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 Let me just paste this Kagara the way I want. So that's it. I'm just going to give you, we use this for our sum if. Okay. So now what we are doing is that for sum if, I told you we are summing based on a particular criteria. Let's say, for example, we want to sum the total population of Gudu LGA. Look at it. We don't have only one Gudu. There are many Gudu that we have. There are many Gudu that we have. And if you want to know that, we can use count if to count that. I can say count if open bracket, this is the range, comma, what am I counting? I'm counting Gudu. Let me close bracket. Look at it. I know the number of, okay, sorry. Let me see this Gudu. Okay, there is space under this Gudu. So in my formula, I have to put that space. I have to put that space here. You see, I have 8 Gudu. So understand that there is a space here, and of course we are going to use we are going to treat trim function here. You know how to get rid of such extra spaces within the data. Don't worry, we will talk about that. But now I removed I just add the space in my formula and we got the total number of Gudu LJ. So for Gudu, we have this, and I think it's Kagara that we use again. So let me just do something. I'll just drag this. Sorry, for Kagara, we have what? We have like 7 of, okay, let me remove this. So I'm going to say count if open bracket, this is my range, comma, what am I looking for is Kagara. I don't know if the Kagara has extra spaces, but let's check. If we see 0, definitely that, okay, there is no space in the name of Kagara. So that way we have 5 and we have 8. So we have 5 Kagara. Kagara appears 5 times within the range. And also Gudu appears 8 times within the range. So I want to sum the total population of these 8 Gudu LGAs or Gudu state. We want to know the total sum of all the target population. For us to know that, we need to what? We need to apply sum if for that. So I'm going to say equals to sum if open bracket. So I'm taking the criteria, the range. I'm taking the range. So the range appears to be where that criteria is. That is where the names of the LGS is. That's the range. So I'm taking this particular range. I'm highlighting this range, comma, what criteria am I looking for? I'm looking for criteria of Gudu. Don't forget the name of Gudu has extra space at the end of it. So I have to add that extra space. And this is the name. So we have this is for Gudu, comma. Then the next thing is the sum range. The sum range. So what is the sum range? Our sum range is what? Is this. This is the sum range. So I'm taking this sum range. So I'm closing it. Then I'm pressing enter. Look at it. This is the total population of Gudu LGA, 5,406. If you add all this Gudu, where Gudu appears, the total will give you this. This 8 Gudu that we have here, this is the total sum when you put them together. Please, you should understand this. This is how you do this. So that's what sum if is all about. Is you summing a particular data based on a criteria. You use a criteria to sum something to get the total of something. And I gave you example of this. Okay. So the second thing that we are going to talk about is sum ifs. So for the sum ifs, we are summing based on 2 or more criteria. That's what we are summing. Now we only use one criteria, which is Gudu. That's all what we use. We use only one criteria to count, to sum that. So now, let's say we have additional criteria that, let's say, for example, this additional criteria that we have, let's say we want to count, now we want to sum Gudu LGA, but this Gudu LGA, the criteria that we want, let's say, for example, we want to sum that, maybe, let me say, we want to sum there under one target, but only Gudu state that their target population is more than 500, and we want to know their total under one. I don't know if this give just give any what did I call it makes any sense. I don't want to confuse you in giving this example. I want to give very simple example that you will understand. Let me just say something. Let me say something. Let me give you this example. Let me say, let's say we have states, we have LGA. Okay, let's say we have states, we have LGA. Okay, let's say that. So let's say we have Kaduna. Let's just say that Kaduna, Ekiti, Zamfara, Kaduna, Zamfara, Ekiti, Lagos, Abuja. I'm just writing this. Let me just make up this because I want to give one example for you. So we have LGA, for example, let's say Kaduna, we have Kaduna North. Ekiti, I don't know. Let me just put Ekiti. Let's just say Ekiti, Gusau. Apart from Kaduna, what state do we have in Kaduna Zaria? Let's say we have Anka. Ekiti, you can give us any Ekiti, let's say just Ekiti North. For Lagos, I don't know. Is it Alimusho? Oh, what did they call it? Or let's put Ikeja, and for Abuja, they don't have LJ, but let's just put anyone. But let's put Sokoto and put this Gudu. Okay. I just want to say this. Let me just give you this criteria. Okay, let's say we have department. I'm sorry, I'm just writing a department. Let's see, data analysis, software development, data analysis, software, data, software. Don't worry, don't get confused. I'm just trying to give you an example that you understand. So for the salary, um, I'm just writing anything, 90,000. Or let me just say, don't worry. Don't worry, I'm just writing it. I'm just writing it anyhow. Don't worry, I'm just writing it anyhow so that we can have the data to use. Okay, so now this data is given to you. What you were asked, the question is, we want to apply some ifs. What we were asked is, find the total salary of the people that are from Kaduna states under Kaduna North. Okay, let's say that are from Zamfara State under Gusau LGA. I can add another one and tell you they are working under Software Development Department. Find the total salary of those staffs. It's three criteria that was given to you. You need to find their total salary. But let's start with one scenario. Let's just say we want to know the salary of people that are from Zamfara and Gusau LGA. So that's what we want to know. That's the salary that we want to know. So I want to add more of this. I want to add another Zamfara, Gusau. Let me just add this. I want to add more of this. Let me just copy this also. I want to add more of this also. I just want us to have something that when we use it, you will see something. Because we'll give you real data. You are going to see the data on that. But I just want to give you an example now. So now, I want to find the total salary of those that are from Zamfara and Gusau LGA. Look at it. We have different LGAs in Zamfara. It's not only Gusau that we have, but we are only trying to get for the Gusau. If I ask you just to find for Zamfara State, you know how to do that. Some if will do that for you. But now we have additional condition. That is those that are from Gusau also. So we are going to say equals to some ifs, open bracket. First thing that it actually is the range of the what? Of the total. So this is the range of the salary. The sum range. I will just post highlight the sum range. Now it will ask you for criteria range one. The criteria range one is states. What are we looking for in the state? I'll put double quote. We are looking for Zamfara. Then I will close it. That's number one. Number one criteria we are looking for is Zamfara. Comma. Second range, what are we looking for? Is LGA. What LGA in Zamfara we are looking for? Then I'll put comma. We are looking for only Gusau. So if I have another criteria, let's say I need for department, we'll do that for department, but let's get this one. Then I'll just close my bracket. Now, if I press enter, it will calculate the salary of those that are from Zamfara and they are from Gusau LG. It will count the total salary of those people for us. That's what this function will do for you. That's some ifs. So let's say I give you additional condition that they are working under data analysis department. So we are going to say some ifs with S, then we highlight the criteria of our what? Of our total. That is the summary. Comma. The first criteria is state. What are we looking for? Zamfara. Comma. The second criteria is LGA. What are we looking for? Is what? Gusau. The third criteria range is what? Department. What are we looking for? We are looking for what? Data analysis. Then we close it and we close our bracket. When we press enter, it gives us this. It shows that all these people that we have in Gusau, they are working on that what? Under data analysis department. But let me change someone department. Let's just sum someone department. Where is Gusau? This is it. Let's change it to software. You see automatically the salary change. Instead of that 789,000. Now the salary change because we have someone that is not from that department of data analysis. If I change another one also, let's change this one. Let's change it to software. Now we have only 0. So if I come under this one, I put data analysis, then definitely we have only this one. This is the only person under data analysis from Zamfara that is working there. So if we count it, for example, you want to count it, you can use equals to count ifs open bracket. Criteria range 1 is this, comma, we are looking for what? Zamfara. Comma, criteria range 2 is this, comma, what are we looking for? We are looking for what? Gusau. Criteria range 3 is this. What are we looking for? We are looking for data analysis. Close bracket, press enter. Sorry. Sorry. Criteria range 1. This we are looking for Gusau. Okay, sorry. I have to make this here. For this. Sorry, we only got 1. So where I made a mistake is just I highlight this 15 row. That way I just edited it. And let me show you that so that when you got the same arrow, that is mistake. This is supposed to stop under 15. So I drag it to, it's supposed to stop under row 14. So I drag it until row 15. So that way I just adjust it like this. Then I press enter and it gives us only 1%. And that's why we got only 28,000. And this is where this 28,000 is. You see, this is the only 1% that we have that is working, that is from Zamfara State under Gusau LGA, working under Department of what? Department of Data Analysis. So this is what this sum ifs is all about. And I believe you understand that. Someone say there is an empty cell in range 2. I didn't get that. Or maybe it's not from me. There is an empty cell in range 2, range 2, range 2. No, it's not empty. I put it. Okay. So this some ifs. This is what some ifs is all about. And now we are moving to the next thing that we have, which is some product. That's what we are moving to. Some product. So let me just say number of months. Okay, so for the month, let me just say, let me just create something. Sorry for this. Okay, let me just create this. So for month, what this some product did, let me just show you this. Some product is more for those that are using business analysis, some of you. So let me just tell you what this did. What some product did for you is that a data sometimes will be given to you that has to do with quantity and value of that quantity. You need to know the total of all. That is the total of this value multiplied by this quantity and the sum of all the data that we have. That's why they call it the sum product. For example, now, consider this salary, consider it as a consider it as a value of a particular product. Consider it at that. Or maybe to be more realistic, let me just create something. Let me just say from 100 to 500. Let me just do something. Let me just call it like unit cost. Let me just call it unit cost. And this is the number of units sold. So this is the unit cost and this is the number of units sold. And you want to know the total. You want to know the total of everything here. What is the total sales? Now you want to know the total sales. Let's say total sales. That what brings us to this sum product. That what brings us to this sum product. You see, now for this sum product, for this sum product now, if you are not applying this sum product and you want to know the total of this, you need to do multiplication and later you this sum. But with this sum product, all you need to is just to highlight this data and you will get the sum of all this. That what is going to do for you, this sum product is going to multiply this and this, this and this, this and this. It will multiply everything for you and sum them together to give you the total value. So we are going to say equals to sum product, open bracket, then just highlight. This is the first range, comma, and this is the second range. Then you close your bracket. Then you press enter. It will give you this total. But let me see what, let me tell you, let me show you what this sum product did for you. I'm going to say, for example, equals to this multiply by this. Press enter. Then I will drag it. Then I have to come down here and say equals to sum open bracket. Let me highlight all this range and press enter. Look at what we got. We got the same answer. This and this. Do you see the shortcut of what this sum product is all about? So it's just to shortcut everything for you instead of you to be creating this multiplication and then you did addition. No, it just say no. Highlight all the cells that you want. Highlight all the cells that you want. When you highlight it, then it will give that for you. Please do you get me? So this is what this sum product is all about. I don't know if you are with me because I can see some people are chatting something that I don't know if it is part of what we are discussing. Please don't worry if you have any suggestion or question, we treat that later. Let's just concentrate on this. If you didn't concentrate on this, I don't even know how we are going to continue. You will still come back and ask me something. Please stop sending something that is not kind of related to what we are discussing. You are just distracting me also because once I saw a message in the chat, it get me distracted. I have to open it to see if there is a problem or something like that. I see someone sending something and someone seconding. I don't even know what you are seconding. I don't know. I don't know what you are seconding. We are having something here, please. Please, let's just concentrate and treat what we are doing here so that later on, if you have any suggestion, you talk to your class rep, you then she pass it, and Amma will consider it and he'll get back to you. That's how it works. But now we are here to do this. We have only one day a week, please. Okay. So for this some product, let me explain it again to you. What I said is that what I told you is that normally is a formula that has to do with the with two or more columns that we want to multiply and get the total sum of such columns. Normally, it's for business analysis, sales, and other product analysis. Normally, in all these, shops and other commerce businesses, there is a quantity price value per each quantity, and there is quantity sold, even liter or petrol and whatever that how it works. So I gave you an example that is the unit cost of each unit. This is the unit cost. For example, we are selling it 352, 156, and this is the unit cost. And this is the total sold per each unit. This is the total sold. So if you don't know some product, you were asked based on this data that we are giving to you, we want you to give us the total revenue generated by this company. You can never get the total, you cannot get the total revenue until you multiply this unit cost by the unit sold. That will give you the sum of this particular product, this you need to follow it product by product to do that. It's after you get the total, that is the actual value, the total sold per each product is when you get this total so that you will sum it to get the total revenue generated. So, but when you have some product, you don't need to do that multiplication and do the summation. You don't need to do that. All you need to is just say equals to some product, then you highlight the total. That is the first column that you have. You highlight it, then you highlight the second one. When you close the bracket now, it will multiply them one by one for you and sum them together for you. When you sum them together for you, then you press enter, then it will give you what? It will give you the total value. So it's like the same, like you did this, but some product is the shortcut that will enable you to do that within a short period of time without spending much time multiplying and summing at the end. So please do you get this? So this is what this sum product is all about. And I think this is where we're going to stop in sum product and let's continue. So let's talk about learn. Learn. There is a formula that is called learn, and it is what the guy is abbreviation of length. Let's call it length. We all know what length is all about. Length, like this. So the formula is learn. That's how the name it is. So what this learn did for you is to count the number of values within the cell. To count the number of values within the cell. That's what this formula did for you. To count the number of values within the cells. For example, now, I want to know how many Kaduna State we have, how many values are in this cell for the Kaduna State. For example, let me say equals to learn, open bracket, then I will just click on this particular cell, then I will close it. Then I press enter. It gives me 6. There are 6 characters of this Kaduna. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So whatever you write, it will count it for you. Now, if I want to know across all this set, I will just highlight it and it will give me that. So let me tell you this. This length value can only be applied to categorical data. So that way, when you have IDs, sometimes you'll be asked to know if the IDs are complete or not complete. If you have BVN numbers, you will be asked to count if the BVN numbers are complete or not. How many figures do we have in BVN number? How many values is supposed to have? 11. So that BVN number, we must have 11 values We must have 11 values of BVN number or 10 of account number or 11 of phone number. You use len function to know that for you to correct the data or for you to remove the discrepancies of the data. So that's why I told you initially, BVN, account number, NIN number, all such numbers that you are hearing are all categorical data, and that's why you must turn them to that for you to be able to apply this. Please take this learn very serious because you are going to be asked about this learn. And also, let me tell you this learn that you see, we can use this learn to create a what is it, what do we call it? To create a script that will give us or that will tell us what is going on within a particular cell. Uh, I don't want to give this example because it's part of your assignment. So I will give you this in at the assignment because we can use this learn function inside a formula. We can use it and get a particular a result that we want. So I'm not going to tell you this. It's part of your assignment. Please crack your brain and learn how to use this learn because you just see it learn. We just get this. You think it's just like that. No, it's a very powerful function that you can use to do a lot of things. So I will not give that example. I expect you to do that, and I really expect you to kind of get that answer because this learn is very, very easy. Okay, so let's move to text to column. So we did the learn already. We did the learn. So let's use the text to column. So for the text to column is a function that is not normally a function, even though there is a function on that. There is a split function for that and all that. But I don't want to use that function because some of you are not using the updated version of what I'm doing. If you are, please just apply it to work. But let me just show you how to do that because it's just a procedure on how to get that. So for you to use this, what this text to column is you can do with it is that when you have a data, for example, let's say you have a data that has this, maybe it's a full name, you want to separate them into first name, surname, and other name. For example, you want to do that. Or maybe it's a name of states. Maybe you want to remove something from the data, you use text to column to do that. For example, now we have data analysis and software development. I just want to take one, I want to remove the other one. Maybe I want to remove the analysis and I want to remove the development. Let's say that's what I want to do. So I use text to column for that. So that's what this text to column is all about. So for you to do that, you need to first highlight what you want to do. So now I want to separate the data within this particular column. So let's go to data. Under this data, you are going to see this text to column. Just click on this text to column. Then you're going to see these two things, delimited and fixed width. So take note, understand this. For the delimited, it means there is a particular character that differentiate the two data that you want to separate. It can be two or more. It can be two or more. Maybe it has a lot of text and you want to separate all the text. It can be date format. It can be a lot of things. So you want to separate them. So you can use this delimited. But first of all, please, sorry, let me just create another column because we need empty cells for this data not to override what we have there. So let me just highlight it and go back there. So for the delimited, it means that there is a character value that differentiate the two data that you want to that you want to separate. For the fixed width, it means you are the one to select where you want to cut from the data. You want to remove out from the data. Please understand this too. And we're going to practice all the time. I'm going to show you that. So let's go to delimited. For the delimited, let's click next. So you say, when you click next, it will ask you for what is the delimiter that you have? What is the value that differentiates these two or this text that you want to separate? What separate them? So if you look at this, say what separate them is a space. That is a space that we have. So that's why we are going to click a space because data and analysis is a space that differentiates them. So I'm going to untick this tab and click on space. Sometimes it can be any character. So if it is other character, just click here and write the character that separate them. Please, the data that you are going to be given, it will show different character. Please write the character that separate the value that you want to separate here. Write it here. So, but now is a space. Let's click on space. Then you click on next. When you click on next, it will ask you on the destination where you want this data to be. By default, it will override this one. It will separate this. It will put the next one onto E. But if I want this data to be somewhere, I can just delete this and click here. This is where I want it to be in E and F. So I don't want it to override the original data. Then I will click on finish. So automatically it will be data will be here and analysis will be here. So that's what this text to column is all about, using delimited. So again, we can have a particular space where we want to separate the data. For example, now let me highlight here. Let me create another column, sorry. So now let's say I want to, let me go to text to column. So now I want to use this pix width. So now let's say I want to only cut from, let you just come here. I want to cut from only three characters. I want to cut from 3 characters of all. So if I come here and I click with my mouse, you see, it's just create that line for me here because that's what it's going to do for us. Then you click next. And this is exactly how I want it to be. AN to be separate, and also what this particular lists to be separate. So what I'm going to do, I will delete this also, and I want it to be here. Then I will click finish. And look, yeah, it will ask me to override because I have unit cost there. So that way I just click OK and look at it here. It's just separated for us based on the picked width that we click on. So we have these three values here and we have this here. So this is what this text to column did for you to separate 2 or more, 2 values or something that you have in one cell to separate it for you in different cells. Okay, so what we are going to talk about now, we are going to talk about concatenate. That's what we are going to talk about. We are going to talk about concatenating. So concatenating is just like a word. Don't get scared of it. It means just to join 2 or more cells together or to put them together. To you can use amalgamate and whatever words you can think of. Use it to get to know what concatenate is all about. We want to put 2 or more cells in one cell. That's what brings us to concatenate. So concatenate is like opposite of text to column. Text to column, we separate. Why concatenate? We what? We join them together. So that's what concatenate is all about. So now we separate this departments, data and analysis. We want to concatenate it. And take note, I told you, concatenate, length, they are the functions for categorical data. So you can't concatenate numerical values. Okay. So now let's say concatenate, and take note, if you are using 2010 and down Excel, that is 2010 to down, you use concatenate in full. That's the name of the function. When you are using, if you are using 2010 and above, that is above 2010, then you are using concatenate. The full is concat. Okay, you are using concat, please, sorry. So the updated version that I'm using now here also, me too, is concat, not concatenate. So we can use concatenate and we can use concat, is the same thing. So please choose anyone, but I'm choosing this concatenate because it's the one most of you, I believe, you're going to see in your system. So let's use that. So again, in this concat, the first thing you are going to put is the first text that you want to concat. Take note, you can write the text on by yourself. You can write what you want to concat. You can write it by yourself, or you can select it from the cells that we have. So now, since we have a data that we want to combine, we want to return it to this department, we want to click this, then I click on it. I press comma. That means I put one text. So now if I click on this second text and I close the bracket, please. If I press enter, look at what will happen. It will concat data and analysis for us without a space. So it put them together because that's what we concat. We just concat this text and this text, it put it together for us. How do we create the space? For us to create the space is we need to write the space by ourselves. So after this comma, we need to put double quote, put space, double quote, then you put comma. So this space on its own, because you know, I told you when we are talking about that categorical data, space and any other spatial values are part of the characters that we have. It's not only A, B, C, D that are the characters. So even space on its own is a value in computer. A space, just simple space that we use, a space that you think is nothing. A space also is a data. Please understand this. Okay. So now, uh, this space that we put is what will create a space between data and analysis. Pause. Let me press enter. You see now we have data and analysis. So data analysis now is separated. When we click here, we are going to have what? We are going to have software development separate, data analysis, and everything is turned back to how it is before. And this is something that sometimes you will see a data, first name, surname, last name, or other name, you will be asked to join them together and create a full name column. And this is something that, please, you will not escape it. Most of the interviews, you are going to see something similar. Please understand this. The next thing I'm going to show you after you apply this concatenate, please, when you are copying the data or when you are deleting one cell, please make sure you highlight all the data, copy it. When you copy it, right click from the top, that is from inside the first column, right click and just paste spatial. Where you see this 1, 2, 3, just click on it. If you didn't see this 1, 2, 3, click this paste spatial. When you click this paste spatial, click on these values. Just click values and press OK. That's all. So now if I delete this, it will not affect this. But if I didn't do that, let me control Z it. Now if I delete this, let me show you what will happen. Everything will be gone. You see, because I deleted the reference cells. So that why I show you this paste spatial. Please rewatch the video and learn how to do this. So let's move. We are done with concatenate. The next thing we are going to talk about is trim. We're going to talk about trimming. Trimming is to remove the unnecessary space within the data, extra spaces within the data. So you see this data, I told you there is extra space in the name of Gudu. You see, so I don't know if there is another one in the other this thing, other cells and whatever, but I'm going to apply trim across this data for me to remove all the extra spaces that we have in the data. But before I remove it, let me show you something. I'm going to apply len equals to len. I'm going to apply len to show you how many characters are in there. You see, it's 5. So I applied this. So that is, let me say before len, before trim. Let me call it B for trim. So now let me say trim data. I'm going to apply trim. Then I'm creating another one to call it after trim. So let me call it after trim. So we are going to learn. Okay, let me see. Learn after trim. So we have learn before trim and we are going to have learn after trim. So let me just trim the data. Trim open bracket. So to use the trim, you are just going to write equals to trim open bracket. Just click on the cell and close it. Then it will trim it. Let me just apply it across. So let me show you something. Let me see learn. Then I'm getting this. Look at what happened. Look at what just happened. You see, in this Gudu, we have what? We have 5 characters before trimming, but after trimming is what? Is 4. And these extra spaces that you are seeing is very, very useful for you to get knowledge of this. That's why we'll come to SQL. When we start creating database in SQL, when we start entering data in SQL, you'll understand the difference between using character and using varchar. That is the char and varchar. You'll know the difference between the two. What database is looking at them. Database can complete the spaces for you and your database will be very heavier than if there is no extra spaces within the data. Each space that you are seeing is taking a bit in your memory storage. It's taking a bit. You know, we have a bit, we have a byte, and we have the kilobyte, megabyte, exabyte, terabyte, whatever byte that you know. Maybe I'll talk about that storage for you, but it's something that is knowledge that you just go and learn. It's not something that's why I'm not going to talk about binary and other stuff so that I will not I will not confuse you. But to understand, computer is taking everything as a bit. So that space that you are seeing is a bit. So We remove these extra spaces. So now it's reduced the what the uh what that is storage that the data is occupying within our computer. So that way we trim the data. So across all the data, if you go wherever there is a space, it remove the space. And again, if you want to apply this trim, copy the data, please, like I show you in that concatenate. Just copy it, come from the top, right? Click on the top cell and just press special. So now everything is top. Even if you delete this one, it will not affect what is here. Please, that's what it's all about. So now that what trimming is all about. So let's talk about left, right, mid, and function that we have. So for the left function, let me just create two separate this here for you. Okay. Okay, so here it is. So let me just call it left, right, and mid function. These functions are used to extract a particular number of characters within a cell. For example, I want to take two characters from the left-hand side of the data. Left-hand side is from G, that is from this G. I want to pick two characters from the left. So I'm going to say left, open bracket, then I click on the text, comma, then I put the numbers that I want and say 2. So I put 2, then I press enter, then it bring all this GU for me. So if I apply it across, it will bring all the initials of two characters from the left hand side of what? Of my data. Maybe I want it from the right hand side, then it's just the opposite. Then I will click on the text, comma, I want it from the right hand side. How many characters? 2. Then I will close it and press enter. Then I'm taking what? The 2 characters from the right hand side of my data. Please understand this. That's what they use to create initials of state, initials of LGS, initials of everything they want to create. You can do that using this. Please understand this. Is all part of your assignment. So for the mid is for you to put the starting point and the end point of the character that you want to remove. So for example, I want to click on this text. I want the starting point of the character to be 2 and the number of characters. I want to start from the number 2 characters. And the number of characters that I want, if it started from the 2, I want 2. Or maybe I want 3. Then I close it and press enter. So it will skip this G and it will start from 2. That is U. That way it will start. Then it will take how many characters? 3. So from that 2 characters, it will take another 2, 1, 2, 3 for me characters from. So if I click here, it's going to create three characters for us, and it start from the what? It start from the second characters. That what this mid function did for you is for you to extract. So the difference between them is for the mid you put the starting and the number of characters that you want, while for the right and left you only need to select the text and you put the number of values that you want to remove either from the left or from the right hand side of your data within the cell. So this is it, and this brings us to the end of the functions for this week, and let's go and talk about sources of data, qualities of data, and data collection methodologies. Please, like I told you yesterday, this that we are going to discuss today has everything to do with what you are going to see, especially during your oral interview. When you are applying for a job, believe me, they are going to ask you something similar, and you are going to be asked that. So let's continue and let's start talking about this sources of data. Okay, let's go. So now we have sources of data. You see, all this that we have been discussing is a data, and this data comes, it came from somewhere. There is somewhere that this data comes from. And you need to know what are the sources that we have that our data comes from. What are these sources? So these sources always determine the quality of your analysis based on where you got the data. How do you get the data? What is the source of the data? And the more you have a very low quality source, the more everything you are going to see or everything you did is going to be of low quality. So let's understand these sources, and even you, whenever you see something, please put it at the back of your mind. What type of source of the data is this? So that you will know what value you will give to that data. So we have primary source and we also have secondary source of data. For the primary source are the data that was gathered by the researcher from the first-hand source. That is first-hand sources. Direct people are the one that give you the data. If it is the people that are affected by flood in Maiduguri, you interviewed the people by yourself. So you got the data from the interviewers. That is from the affected individuals. They are the primary, that data is the primary, they are the primary source of the data. That is the direct source of the data. Please understand this. That's the primary data. If the data is collected or gathered by other people or from other researcher or from other people that collected the data from other primary sources, then that data is a secondary source data, is a secondary data. So now, I'm the one that go to Maiduguri and collect a particular data, and I come back. Hammad Technology did a survey in Nigeria. We gathered a data. Then Zamfara State or Lagos State or Abuja, any other state asks us for the data and they collect the data from us. That data, to us, the data is primary source, but to them, the data is secondary. But to us, it's a primary. Please understand it. We are the we got the data from primary source, but they got the data from secondary source because they are not the one that interact with the direct source of the data. They just receive the data from us and they use the data. Please understand this. And anytime data is from secondary source, please make sure that that secondary source is the primary. You collected the secondary source, collected the data from the primary source. Make sure of that so that you will not be using data that is pirated data, because the long chain of the data, the more chain of the data, the more quality the data, the quality of the data is reducing. So the higher the chain, the lower the quality. The higher the chain, the lower the quality. That's how it is. So please understand this and to know that. And all these sources, secondary sources that we have and primary sources, we also have internal and external. So understand this. It can be primary source, it can be internal or external. It can be secondary source, it can be internal or external. When we say internal data, is the data that lives within the what? Within the organization database. Even if they are the primary source of the data and the data is internal data. And we have external data which live outside the organization. So that's what this internal and external data that we have is all about. So there is a data that is a primary source. You are the primary source of the data. You collect it from the primary source and you don't have the data does not live within the internal company. It doesn't live inside the company's own system or database. It's somewhere else. And this also give the data to be very low quality data. And there is this external, like I told you, it lives outside the database of the particular organization or entity, even if they are the primary source of this data. So if I give you this question, if I ask you this question, if I ask you this question, the data that we have in Nigeria, do you think it lives within us? Even if it is a primary, is it internal or external? And believe me, if the data is external, it doesn't live within, the data doesn't live within the company system, the value attached to that data will be low than the value of the data that lives within the internal system of the company. Because no matter how, once data is pirated or is touched, then there is issue. And anything you are going to do is bound to have error. That's why you see there is this dragging with a lot of people that didn't trust INEC to have external database out of Nigeria. Do you get what I'm saying? Because the database doesn't belongs to them. That's what that what give reputation to these high technological companies that you are seeing in the world. Google, Facebook, Meta, X, and whatever. They have their own internal databases. Go and research, please. Just Google it. Go and see the data warehouse, the database warehouse of these giant tech companies and see what they are doing. You see, there are databases that I knew. You cannot enter that database with cloth. You have to enter it naked. Just for you not to take anything alien to that database and corrupt their systems. You have to enter it naked. You have to remove all your clothes. They need to sterilize you. They need to put a lot of things on you. You have to go inside naked. So you need to have your database secured. You need to have your data secured, well protected, so that anything will not tamper with the result of whatever you are going to work with the data. So please, all these are to show you we need to look at the sources. Even if you want to give value to the data, we look at the sources, repetition of the sources, whether the source is the primary or secondary, or it's just a third party. It's just someone that has no, he just saw it online and use it. That is just, market data. We don't need to even look at that particular data. And we'll talk about the qualities of the data and some things that you need to look at. You need to cite where you got the data. Any report you are given, you need to cite it. There is citation in whatever you are doing. Where do you got the data? Who did the data? Where do you got it? If it's WHO, you need to cite WHO. If it is UNICEF, you need to cite UNICEF. If it is World Bank, you need to cite World Bank. If it's CBN, you need to cite CBN. There is no way, if you are not the source of the data, no way you can use that data just like that. You need to know who are the sources of the data. And that's why you see most of our data must be tempered. You know how it is? It must be tampered with because we are not storing our data. Most of even all these hosting companies that we have, hosting service providers in Nigeria, most of them, their servers is not in Nigeria. And they want us to host our companies. They want us to save our files on their servers. You see, there is an issue in all this. But don't worry, it's just something that, as we are going on. But for you, for the purpose of this, you need to understand this, you need to learn this, you need to know this, you need to know that we have these sources. And anytime you see a data, please put it at the back of your mind. What sources are you dealing with? Okay, the question is, what data again now? What data do you need? That's what we are going to discuss about. This is the question. Now we know the sources. So what data do you need? That's it. What data do you need? The question is, please, if I rephrase the question, what data do you need? It is primary, secondary. What type do you need? Which one do you think you need in the data? What data? Can you answer this question for me, please, before we continue? Okay, what data do you need? Okay. I'm listening. I just want to start talking about this quality. Someone say secondary, someone say primary, someone say secondary, someone say primary. It's okay. Primary and secondary, you can need both. Yeah, you can need both. But you as data analyst, let me tell you this, you'll be dealing with primary data always. You need to get the data from the direct source of the data. But always it will depend on what you need. It will depend on what you are doing. It will depend on, because there are certain things that you want to do that you don't have the data, you need to get it somewhere. But when you get it somewhere, whatever you are doing, you need to refer it to those that have the data, because you can see a lot of discrepancies in the data. You can see a lot of discrepancy, a lot of things, a lot of whatever in the data. If you can get your data, please go and get your data by yourself. If you can get your data, go and get your data by yourself, please. So that's it. But if you can't, you can use secondary data. Ask for the permission. If it is online, go ahead and download it from there, because once you see a data on their website, it's just for public use. So it's for public use. That's why you see it online. Go ahead and download it. You can use it, create your report, and make sure in your narrative report, in your technical report that you are writing, you acknowledge where you got the data. Put the link of where you even download the data, please. And just go ahead and say something so that people will think you are just bringing it out of your pocket and they will clap for you. You are the one. Please don't take credit of what you are not, what you didn't do. Please don't try to do that. Okay, so let's talk about some qualities of the data. Let's talk about these qualities of the data. There are certain qualities that your data need to have. And these qualities of data, please make sure any data given to you, any data you are going to work with, apply these qualities to that data. Please, these are the things I'm teaching you. That way I'm not giving you any handout. I want you to, you need to marry this you need to have them at the back of your mind. Whenever someone start talking to you about it, you need to say it with full confidence that you know what you are doing. So please understand this, and please make sure that you learn them. It's not like you memorize them, you marry them in you, please. So number one is the data must be reliable data. Make sure that the source is reliable. Don't just go online, just you see data, or you just see someone posted something on Facebook and you start analyzing and start reporting and give your narration. Please stop doing that. There are lots of people, lots of newspapers. They are liars. They are talking nonsense and rubbish. They are publishing rubbish. Even most reputable newspapers that you know in Nigeria and even around the world, they are publishing nonsense. They are publishing as something that didn't add up. Because there is no way you can be coming and start telling us that this data is this data is, or this particular state has so certain percentage of particular uh, out of school children, or they have certain percentage of poor people, or they have certain percentage. Please, all this that you are seeing, please don't even quote them. As a data analyst, when you look at it, you know it's nonsense. Just don't use such particular information, please. It's not a reliable source. It's not. Because even let me give you example. I don't want to call the name of the newspaper. They come and say, okay, this particular state has so percentage in this. That's what they are doing in Nigeria. After some period of time, they'll just release it. You don't know when they did the survey. You don't know who they asked the question. You don't know how they made their sampling method. You don't know how they collect the data. How did they come arrive? Where is the data? You don't know that. How did they come about the percentage? These people can just take a phone call and call one person from Gusau or from Ikeja or from somewhere and ask him about something. They'll just write a report that 99% of people from Ikeja are this. What sort of, you see, this is what they are doing in Nigeria, and that's something that we can't accept it. Me too. That way, if I saw that, I would just laugh and just continue doing my things, because I know it's just a concocted story that they are just trying to, just say what they want to say, and that is something that it's not a reliable something. So please, data must be reliable. What is the source of the data? The source must be a reliable source. Even if you are doing it individual, you are taking it from primary source. Don't go and ask someone that is not reliable to give the data. You are taking data of people that are married people, or divorcees, or widows. You are taking their experience about marriage, and you end up talking with bachelor, someone who never got married in his life, and is at the age of 50 or 60, and you're discussing it with him. What is he telling you? He'll tell you nonsense, rubbish. So he's not even a reliable person to give you that data. Forget about him and go and get the reliable people with experience to tell you what you need to hear. So please, reliability is something you need to put at the back of your mind. Original. You see this original, any pirated data is not as any data that was maneuvered, any data that was touched, any data that was, it was kind of edited, it was kind of, there are a lot of amendment to that data. Please, that data is not original data. Please, it's not original data. Any data you are going to work with must be original. It must be original. Nobody tampered with the data. So that will not go and say, okay, out of school children in Kano are 300. Just because the Ministry of Education want to get more money, they increase the number to 400 or take it to 5,000, so that Agile will give them a lot of money to cover that. You see, don't accept that. Any data that is not original data, because it's only original data that will speak the truth. Only original data. All the data that you are seeing in Nigeria, most of the data, they concoct it. They just sit inside their room, concoct whatever they want to concoct and publish. That way, it will never speak to our context. Never. Because data is not original data, it's tempered data. And this data, it must be unbiased. Please understand this. When you are trading your enumerator, we'll talk about that enumerating, because you are going to the field, all of you are going to the field for data collection. You need to learn a lot of things. When you are collecting data, you need to be unbiased. Don't say just because I'm from southern Nigeria, okay, let me add a lot of out of school children to northern Nigeria so that they will look like northern Nigeria are not going to school. Or maybe you are from northern Nigeria. Let me add a lot of this so that they will look at southern Nigerian people are doing this. You as a data analyst, you are neutral. You don't have common enemies. You are just a neutral. You are doing your things based on what the data is telling you. So you don't care about anything. So you speak with the originality of the data. If it says this, say whatever it says. That's all. That's all. So make sure your data is original. Again, comprehensive. You need to have comprehensive information for you to analyze a data and arrive at a particular decision. This is what these people are doing. I told you, they'll just call few people on phone and they'll just, based on that few people that they call, maybe two or three, they'll just say the entire state is this. And they'll even give percentage. And that state has population of more than 5 million people. They will just go to one market and just conduct a simple survey of two to three people, and they'll just come and tell you the entire price commodity of that particular state is this. How? We have more than 500 markets within a particular state, and you only go to one market and you are giving percentage across all the states. You see, these are the things that we need to understand, we need to learn, we need to see. And we are going to talk about that sampling method and how to conduct that sampling method before your field work. You will all learn this. So that someone will not come and tell you he conduct a survey. How did he conduct the survey? How did he choose his sample? What type of sampling method did he apply? How did he do it? What are the evidences? How did he do the calculation? So you see, all these are things you need to understand and you need to put at the back of your. So the data must be comprehensive, enough data for you to use, enough data for you to use. There is that. So please take note. Just small data cannot represent entire. We have 5 million people. There is certain percentage of data that will represent such people. There is certain percentage of people. Yeah. So one market cannot represent 500 markets. No way. There is no way statistically you can back that with any whatever whatever what did I call it? I even lose the word. Any justification you are going to give can never justify you using one market out of 500 market within a state with more than 20 something LGS, and you are saying that the price of commodity is this based on one market within one single area. Just all these are something that you see is part of things that we need to kind of uh, just correct. So current, and the data has to be current data. It has to be current. So when you are dealing with current situation, current content, you use current data. But you see in Nigeria, we are using 2006 population data up till today. Any data apart from that is estimated. Any data, we are using 2006 census data. Nobody can tell you how many are we in Nigeria. Nobody. So you see, we need to have current data has to be current. So when you are conducting analysis, make sure you have a current data. But unless you are using a data to understand the historical of something, of course you can use that to understand the history of something, trend of something. Then you use the current data to make a decision on something. But always make sure data needs to be current for what you are going to use. Then data needs to be cited. Please make sure you cite it and you set the source so that that data, even if you see a data just like that, let them cite where they got the data. If there is no citation on the data, don't trust that data. Nobody will just give you a data just like that without the citation of the data. When the survey is conducted, who did survey, on what the survey was conducted, what topic, you need to know that. Why did they conduct it? What are the variables within the data? You need to know all that. Time, location also. What is the location of the survey? So that you will not go and be using data from Niger, thinking it's Nigerian data. Or they will not go outside Nigeria and conduct a survey to come back in Nigeria and trying to apply that the same data to us. So you need to know all this information you need to know in citation. Okay. Let's talk about how to collect data. You can collect data in many formats. There are many ways to collect a data, many ways. So we can collect data online. We can also collect data offline, and we can collect data hybrid, because you see, these are the methods that we use to collect the data. Please understand, it's just how, not the data collection methodology. We'll talk about the methodologies. how to collect the data. We can collect data online. That is using Google Sheet, using website portals and whatever. That's the online. We can also collect data offline. That is using questionnaires. You see, we can go with our questionnaires. That is document offline. We can use that. And we can also collect data on hybrid. That is, we can collect it. That is hybrid method of data collection that has to do with online and offline. All these Kobo Collect, ODK, ComCare, and all these are types of these hybrid data collection tools that we have, which all these online, offline, hybrid, we are going to learn all this during this internship. We'll teach you how to develop Google Sheet, how to develop ODK, Kobo Collect, or ODK, some call it Kobo Collect or ODK, call it that. ComCare, all that you will learn how to develop a tool, deploy the tool, go to the field and collect data with that. The importance of this is you can collect the data offline. Even if there is a network in a remote area, you can go there and collect data. When you come back to the urban areas, you can send the data to the server, and that's what almost all the NGOs around the world, they are using these tools. So they are using either Kobo Collect, ODK, or ComCare. ComCare now is the hottest, let me tell you, is the hottest data collection tools that international NGOs are using. And that way, I'm going to teach you that you need to learn it, because if you learn this ComCare, believe me, it's going to boost you and it's going to boost your, you know, your CV. So which one do you think is the best? That one we'll discuss when you learn it. You will know that, because we don't have much time. I don't want us to come back again. So let's talk about this data collection methodologies in brief. Let's just talk about that. Data collection is just the process of collecting data, evaluating information or data, all that, you know what that is all about. I'm not just continue. So let's talk about this data collection methodology. Methodologies of data collection are just ways of how data are collected. These are the methodologies. Please put it at the back of your mind. As part of the interview question that you will be asked, what are the methodologies, data collection methodology? Number one is a survey. Survey is part of the data collection methodologies that are conducted. And these surveys, there are lots of surveys: baseline survey, endline survey, midterm evaluation survey. There are different names of this, and I think we are going to talk about them. You are going to understand them when we started talking about other things. I will talk about that for you. You will learn that. We have questionnaire. You all know questionnaire is part of how data collection is part of the data collection methodology. We have FGD. That is the focus group discussion. It's part of the data collection methodologies. We have KII. That is key informant interview. FGD is conducted for the community, people of the community. You ask them you just gather 10 or more people. You ask them what is going on within their community. They respond to you. You discuss with them. Why the KII is conducted with the stakeholders of the community, those that make the decision. You ask them what is going on, what have they done, what is going. That's what KII is all about. So that one is key informant interview and focus group discussion. This one is for the masses, while this one is for the stakeholders. That's the two different of the. Please understand these two and make sure you know what they are all about. Then we have research. Research also is part of that. We have observation. Observation is also part of it. Interview, normal interview is also part of that. There are different methodology, but this one also is enough for you. If you understand this, believe me, it's okay for you. So this is it. I believe you have some questions. So what are we going to do with question and answer? Can we leave it till what? Can we leave it till on Saturday, so that you will watch all this video and write your questions, so that on Saturday, since I have mentoring, career mentoring in tech. So on Saturday, of course, yeah, because it's late and I'm tired, let me tell you this. I have other things to cover before I slept. So I think we leave it. Yeah, it's the best option. Let's leave it, please, on Saturday, so that you watch all this video. I will try to put all the video yesterday and today together for you. You watch, so that on Saturday I'll respond to your questions, any question you have related to what we have discussed. Then we treated the questions then. So I think let's stop here. We have some few seconds to go. So let's call it a night. I wish you all the best, and please uh take good care of yourself. Bye bye. Have a wonderful dream. Thank you.